Hey, Monster Dragon Metals here. Today I will be tearing down a old ICS armoured security camera. Has a busted connector. And it's quite old and quite low resolution, 420 TVL, and it also has a quite small lens. It's not actually that good. The case is not interesting though. I've never actually turned down an armoured security camera. You can get ones more better resolution than that for very little money these days, so I imagine this thing's quite old. Since I have drone cameras more powerful than this. All the relevant information. How do I get this off? How did I get it off in the first place? Ah, there we go. Nice armoured case. Could probably serve some use. Ooh, how do I get into this? Fair enough. Ooh. Lens. Oh, protective lens. Camera. How do I get that out? Oh, so just literally like an Arduino type driver board for this. Oh, that's sponge. Got a light dependent resistor here. That's for telling when it's night time. Focus. There, light dependent resistor, which changes this resistance based on light levels. All these are infrared LEDs, similar to the type you find inside of your remote control for controlling your TV. This is probably okay. A few resistors on there. These contain trace amounts of very rare metals like osmium and ruthenium. Some transistors here. Well, it might be power transistors though. They contain very small amounts of silver. So there's the camera circuit inside, buried under loads of screws in this housing thing, which I will destroy. Quite big. No issues undoing these screws. Cool. Sometimes they can be well stuck in there. I'd say that's a zinc aluminium alloy. The rest of this case is machined steel. I'll be able to melt down that zinc aluminium alloy, so it's good for an ingot. And I can turn it in, well, an ingot, I say that, but it's probably better used as a billet for machining. So I've seen people make some really cool key rings out of billets of zinc and aluminium. Ooh, what are you doing to me? Bunny rabbit scaring me. She does that almost every video. She likes joining in, I guess. Ooh, that's the mounting for the camera, I believe. Wow, that's a really long screw. No, it's not. It's a fine thread one. Lots of turns, fair enough. A little bit of copper on that wire, obviously. And there's a nice Molex connector on the end. That's what that's called. It's pretty generic for electronics. Quite useful also. Probably a power board in here somewhere, unless it's built onto this. As it is 12 volts. Should be a nice size camera chip inside there though. This thing is old, as I've said. Nice big fat CMOS chip underneath that lens, which will contain gold. Yay. That's the zinc aluminium housing. You can tell by its weird level of corrosion. I have to take off these brassy bits though before I melt that. Usually melt down zinc aluminium alloys. So there's the camera circuit. Oh, look at that, there's remarkably little to it. The entire thing's a single unit. Huh. So let's have a little look now, see what we got. A little small screwdriver, focus. So we've got a diode here, that's a blocking inducer, that's the diode here. These things here, this weird sort of orangey, yellow, brown thing contains small amounts of tantalum. By that I mean it can be like about 40 to 60%, depends on the manufacturer. Got some nice chips here. That's a timing crystal, this thing. That contains either gold or silver, pretty much guaranteed, this little cylinder here. I'd say it contains gold due to the nature of its function. These chips here also contain small amounts of gold. Got a palladium MLCC here. These things contain small amounts of palladium, but it's worth a lot of palladium, so always worth gathering the MLCCs, although it'll take you forever to go through a bucket, and it can be a lot easier if you just use magnets to separate out all the magnetic material. Or sieves, as you know the dimensions of them, they're around 0.2 to 0.4 millimeters depending on their size. You can even get 0.01, so just got a sieve that size, should be able to just separate them all quite easily. Still have to pick out all the dirt and wash it all out and whatnot though. Oh, tiny screws on this camera board. Issues turning this screw. Got it. Ow, turn my wrist. Careful of that. Yay! The board has been released. Now there's the lens module. That's actually quite nice. Bit of weight to it. And some fine glass mechanism inside, no doubt. I think I'll keep that. That could be useful. Maybe. Stuff aside, there's surprisingly little in this. Cable I'm going to have to slice. There is copper inside of it after all. There we go. Nice hollow steel tube. Not sure what to do with that. A plant pot maybe. Yeah, I think I could turn that into something like a plant pot. So there's all the metals, just moving all the screwdrivers and doodads aside. Some copper inside of this wire, although this is the kind of wire that you definitely need to burn or tuck into a massive chipper. These Molex connectors, however, will be used. Oh, silica just went everywhere. Damn it, that stuff's not good for you. I'll clean that up in a minute. Silica bag broke open. Got all them silica beads, desiccant stuff. Nasty. Anyway, Molex connectors. Got a 4 and a 3 pin. Although the 4 pin has broken, I think. Yep, so that's a 3 pin now. Not that it matters, you do have ones of that variant. Copper. So let's have a look at that camera chip. Focus. Plenty of gold in there, as you can see. Where's my screwdriver? I better point it out for you. See these rims here? That is gold. There's also microscopic filaments around the silicon chip itself inside of this tiny camera. This cameras used to be huge in the day. You can see the layer of gold just from the side there. And this chip can be crushed or just smashed with a hammer very carefully in order to retrieve the gold within. and it's already in a pure state, so pretty much straight to melt with this kind of material. Or another one of them tantalum bearing blocking, no, as a capacitor, tantalum bearing capacitor, and MLCCs with palladium. Quite a bit of silver in them also, but it's mostly things like base metals like iron. Loads of teeny tiny ones here. These are the 0.1mm type that I was on about. Some silver clad on the board along with heavy copper, as usual. These chips contain silver and possibly a tiny amount of gold, but it's more likely the large one here contains the microscopic filaments of gold, and these ones more likely tiny amounts of silver, especially on the legs, on the IC legs. Just trying to think of the name then. Interconnected circuits. Very pretty camera chip. Try and get a close-up view of that. You see all the iridescent colours inside, as well as the gold. So very nice circuit board indeed, very pretty. And I got that also. Not too much inside of this camera circuit, actually. I was expecting more, considering the size of the protective case and all. So, not too much out of that, but high yield instant gold from that component. Very, very shiny and pretty indeed. So, till the next video.